Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, round 6. And if you want to check out Instagram and see the beautiful layouts posted there, it's hashtag 30DSCBL6. And you can go to Facebook. You can put yours on the Facebook page or Instagram too, but there will be a spot on Facebook page to do it. It'll have the sketch, and you just put it in the comments so everybody can see them. And I am going to scrap those two pictures of my great niece Kayla, and they look like they're 4x4 thereabouts, so that's what I cut them at. The paper that I'm using is Echo Park, and it is the baby one, but it has brown in it, and she does have a brown shirt on, and then it's embroidered with flowers around the collar. So I thought that I would use little flowers, pink and brown, and this collection had that in there, so it was an easy choice then. I just think pink and brown look really good together. And I am going to stitch on this page, and if I had noticed before I stitched that there is a blanket stitch around the collar part of her shirt, I would have used a blanket stitch on my page. I am first mounting my pictures in white and then that brown. And the brown has little tiny flowers on it, but by the time you mount it, I don't think, well, yeah, you can tell. You can tell. The original sketch shows the papers mounted one on top of the other, but I'm going to offset mine. And I did cut the chunk out thinking I would mount my photos with it, but I had to get another piece anyway. It also shows on the layout scallops. Well, one row of scallops. I'm going to put 4. Yeah, I'm going to go above and beyond. Well, I like more. I do have a scallop die that makes the wider scallop like the original sketch, but instead I used one that has 2 on the same size die, and they're kind of wonky. One side's wider than the other, and then you get to the other end and it's smaller. And I was going to put them together, and I thought, I could do some vellum too. So that's what I did. It's over to the side, and it's a greenish color plaid. I'm also cutting a strip of the brown to go on it too. I just thought I'd dress it up just a little bit, but I wasn't quite sure how wide I wanted it, so I cut 2 of them. I only needed 1, but I cut 2. If I'd been using the wider scallop, I would have known how wide, but I don't use these as often. But I saw them when I was digging out the wide one, and I thought, oh, I haven't used them in a while. I need to use them. And that vellum is color Bach, and I got it at Big Lots, and I got like 25 for just a couple of dollars. I'm not sure how much it was, but I never hardly think of using it either. But I did today. I'm so glad, because it goes with the colors in that plaid looking paper, that really pretty pink and green plaid looking paper. I think that is so pretty. I wanted to highlight it and use it in the background of the photos. I am going to put foam tape behind the picture on the right to bring it up just a little bit. Well, I think I already put it on there, and it's just laying over to the side. But I thought, I've got a few other things I need to do before I mount it, because it does cover a little bit of the scallops. And the stitch I'm going to use down here on the left is going to be a cross stitch. But up there on the right hand side where the title goes, I just used a back stitch. And my title won't be there because of that. I put the stitches there, and I am going to put a flower and some greenery. And when I got this thread out, I noticed this is the only skein of brown that I have. Well, I have one that's sort of kind of brown, but it's a light color. And this would be the brown I would want to use. I thought, shows how often I use it. I haven't even noticed I was down to 1 skein. And see, there's the picture, and it is going to be on the foam tape. And yeah, she liked her thumb pretty good that day. She still is such a cutie, and this was a long while back. But the last time I seen her, she was talking about she's going to send me photos so I'd have some to scrapbook, and that was pre-COVID. Yeah. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do an album and use her as she grows up. So I'm going to have a whole album's worth of hers. I've done a couple already. So I only have maybe 17 to go. Maybe. Since I put so many layers on the scallop, I thought I needed more. Yeah, more up there at the top. So instead of two, I'm going to have three. And I tried to use that extra piece of brown that I had, and it wasn't going to work. It just wasn't enough to give it any sort of angle at all. And I figured it needed to be angled since the first two were. So I am putting my favorite piece up there, and then that other pink that I like, but it's an accent. And it's kind of like a solid, because it's one of those tone on tones. And then the brown. And plus, I'm going to have the stitches and my title. My title is going to go up there. But when I was looking at it and trying to decide where to put the stitches, that right hand corner looked like the best spot because I wasn't going to stitch all the way across. I considered it, but then I decided I was just going to put a few like I did the X's down there. I think because I was a counter in my a former life, I did count the stitches, and there's like 10 stitches that are going to go there. But it was out of habit, so I counted them. The original sketch shows two tags up there above the right hand picture, but I'm going to put one of the doilies, and this one is my favorite, but it's small, and oh my goodness, I almost cover the whole thing up. I just can't believe I just kept putting stuff on there. And then when I went to take the pictures, I thought, where's the doily? Well, you can see a little bit of it when I get done, but not as much as I would have liked. I used my Spellbinders wreath die set that I showed at the beginning for the greenery and the flowers, and I'm taking my piercer and curling the flowers so that they won't, some are curled under and some are curled over, and so they'll look more dimensional on the page because I like layering and I like dimension too. And I'm going to put some little squares of foam tape under each of them. I cut some up and put it around the edge of the bowl so I wouldn't have to keep stopping and cutting them. I can just reach over and grab. But yeah, most of them's going to have a little bit of that foam tape underneath them. And while I was cutting them out, I was using a piece of paper that had, well, it was a scrap. And it had polka dots on one side and it had flowers on the other side. Well, I ran across two that I fussy cut that are a little bit bigger, and then the rest I just cut where the flowers were. So it made the leaves different colors and colorful. And then if I flip the other side over, then it's the polka dot, but you really can't tell it's polka dots because the flowers are so little. But wreath, I just love that wreath. It can make it look like a vine cutting it apart, and I like that too. And the paper that I used is it was an Amazon one I got, oh my goodness, year and a half ago. And it has no texture. Of course, you don't know. Well, at least I didn't notice it didn't have any texture. So that's the only thing I don't like about it is that it don't have any texture because I do like texture paper. But I thought unless you get Cartabella, most of the pattern paper don't either. So I've learned to like this. I'm even considering ordering some more because I think I'm down to like one sheet. But it's a pretty color. It's called basil. Oh, and for the center of my flowers, if you see over there to the right, you can see one punch and the other one's somewhere around here. But I cut a 1/4 inch punch, punched out, and an eighth. For the tiny flowers, I did an eighth. And I used that strip that I didn't use of the brown for the tiny ones and just punched them out of there and made brown centers for the tiny ones. And when I say tiny, I mean tiny. That's why I'm having to use the piercer to put them on there. I couldn't hardly pick them up. And I do have a little bit of fingernail. It's not like I didn't have fingernails, but they're hard to pick up when they're that little. And I am putting one flower and a little bit of greenery and a little while, a heart and sequins too. up there by my stitching just to highlight it a little more, maybe to draw the eye up there to see the stitching. But my title's going to go at an angle all the way across the rest of it. It's going to take up that whole area just about. And you will see me put some chevron arrow looking things on there. But I thought, well, I wasn't thinking how much room I needed for my title. So they are going to get moved when I make the title. But as I said earlier, this is Christy's round 6 of 30 days of sketches, and she's had loads and loads and loads of people join in on her. So there is plenty of inspiration of what to do with a sketch where you can go off the board like I did yesterday, and my angled papers were actually bats, or you can stick pretty close to it, which I am today. I am sticking pretty close to it. And yeah, and use the same sketch and it'll all come out different. There's plenty of people doing it that you can see the variety. So if you're not using sketches, you might want to check them all out and see what all the difference are, and you might change your mind about them. Of course, generally, other than Mixed Media Frenzy, I don't use a sketch unless I'm challenged to use the sketch, but I still like them. And if I'm in a hurry, it's the best choice because it's going to have most of what I need to do right there in front of me. Like if I'm going to make an album for somebody and it's their birthday and I procrastinated right up to the end almost, yeah, I'm going to use sketches. But I am thinking this is the last flower that I put on this page. So all I'll have left really is the sequins, the enamel dots. Well, not dots, they're hearts. They're hearts and a couple chevron arrow things. And the title, and I will be done. So yeah, I'm moving right along here. But yeah, the links will be down there below of everybody that I know is doing a layout today. Maybe their name will be on there and for some reason they couldn't get it up today. But you can still check the next day and they'll probably have one. But everybody's doing really good at doing them daily. I'm surprised at how many there are. And I'm surprised at me that here it is, I think day 14. I think it is. I think it's day 14. And I am still doing and have done it every day. But the sequins that I'm using, they were from Cat Scrappiness, and I cannot tell you the name of them for sure because it was a sample, and there weren't very many, and I thought, oh, it looks like enough for a page. But I think I got enough if I'm sparse at putting them on there for another page too. Boy, I get to talking and wham, my video and layout is done. But that is my layout. And see my doily, it barely shows. And this is the bottom right hand corner. And see, I've got several layers there with the scallops. And this is where the stitching is up on the top, but I took it at a funny angle. And the flowers up the side with the cross stitching, and then I think the title actually gets shown next. No, I showed you this twice instead. Sorry. But the title is Thumb Thing Sweet, for her thumb in her mouth, which she loved. But if you leave a comment below, I'll get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And those of you who are, thank you so much. But have a happy, scrappy week. Take care and stay safe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Punched Out Thursday. So yeah, I should see you tomorrow. Even if I fall down on the job on the sketch, which I, not planning on doing. They're still Punched Out Thursday. Bye.